Hey guys, I'm Node.js. Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to build this simple front-end interface with Vue. It's going to be simple, straightforward. I'm going to show you how to create cards and bring them from your stored data. I also have this cool parallax section which looks like the image is behind this. As you're scrolling, the image is changing and scrolling too. I'm going to have this, simple view gallery. I'm also going to make this website responsive on both the mobile view and the tab view. This template is gotten from Team Wagon. It's where I get all my templates. There are free versions to this as well. So what you're gonna do is click on top freebies and you're gonna see free templates that you could practice your web development journey on. I'm also linking my repository, my GitHub repository, to the description, so in case you're stuck anywhere during the course of this tutorial, you could easily just navigate to my repository and you're gonna see all the data, all the codes that are used for this tutorial. So I hope you're as excited as I am to build this. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I also want to thank those who subscribed newly to my channel. I really appreciate you all. I notice daily that people are subscribing and it gives me like motivations to keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you for all my subscribers, and also do give my repository a star if you come to my GitHub. It's going to let me know that you're following, and you can follow me on GitHub. I will follow you back too. I remain Good.js.
On our browser, we're going to say vite.dev. We'll be using Vite to install the view because it's much more easier. And we're going to scroll down and copy this line. We are using npm for this project. If you're using yarn, it's fine. Just click on yarn. If you are familiar with pnpm, use it as well, but I'm going to be using npm for this project, and I'm going to click it. I'll head over here and change the name. The name of this project is Hileo. Click enter. So it's done installing. Here are where all my files are, and I could see it here. So I'm quickly just going to cd into Hileo by copying this line. So I'm cd'd into Hileo, and I'm going to click npm install to install all the dependencies that comes with the Vue package, also the Vite package as well. So it's done installing, and to start the server we're going to say npm run dev. It's starting it in localhost 5173. You click enter, and as you can see, it's working. We close this up because we're not going to be using it again, and we want to head over to TailwindCSS.com. It will lead you to the official Tailwind page. You need to click on docs for document and also installation. So because we are using Vite for this, it's going to be easier setting up the Tailwind CSS. This is quite one of the only ways I know when adding Tailwind CSS to Vue projects. So you're going to copy this line to install the Tailwind CSS / Vite. You can open another terminal, close this up, and paste. So let me zoom in my interface so you could see it more clearly. So the Tailwind CSS is done installing. I will head over to Vite.config ts for TypeScript. It will be the last file on this. Close this up. So we have Vue in the plugin already. We want to copy this line, paste it beneath here. You also want to copy this line and add it to the plugin. Say comma Tailwind CSS. Looks good. Close it up. Now the next instruction is we are importing Tailwind CSS in our CSS file. If you skip this step, your Tailwind CSS is not going to work at all. So these are all the default styling that comes with Vue to add this beautiful interface like this over and whatsoever have you. So I'm just going to delete this, and when I do, this is just going to be very normal now because it has no CSS styling attached to it. I'm going to paste this import Tailwind CSS so that we can be able to make use of our Tailwind properties in every other file in the folder or the project. Now we want to close our terminal and restart it. So I'm going to say Ctrl C, then paste this to restart it once more. Our terminal has successfully restarted once more. I'm closing the first one we were making use of. Now this is just like a test code to make sure Tailwind CSS is properly working. This is text 3XL, font is bold, and it's going to be underlined. So I'll head over, close this up. I'm going to head over to my app.vue, which is basically what is rendering this interface and so have you. I'm going to delete everything inside. Hopefully this is going to be empty. I'm also going to delete this as well because we are not using it anymore, and paste. So Tailwind CSS is officially working. If you're not sure, I do like to add a text red 500 to make sure, and it's working. Close this up. So this is our Vue project, and these files, they defaultly come with it. I'm going to quickly just run over the explanations of what each and every individual file and folder work, or what they are made of, or what they are used for. If you're familiar with how they work and how they run, you can skip this part, but if you're not familiar, maybe you're a beginner, I would like to run you through this process. So the node models is a critical dictionary in the Vue.js. It's also used in React and other kind of Node.js based projects. The node modules is used to store all third-party dependencies, libraries, and packages installed by npm or yarn. So I think that's much explanation I could give concerning this node models. It just stores the third parties packages or installations done by yarn or npm. For this public directory, it's used to hold files like favicons or html files, or even assets folders. It's used to just hold on to some files in the project. For this src, the folder contains all the source code for your Vue application. It's kind of like the heart of the whole Vue application. This is where you add your components, your styles, everything else, your assets as well. If you don't want to add it to your public, you leave it in your src. So basically that's what the folder is for. The asset folders to store all kind of images and whatever you feel like you could use in the Vue project. For instance, this svg that is stored here is used in the Vue project, and the component basically is just a folder that stores reusable Vue components. This folder stores like files like this hello world, which was used in this app initially. It comes with Vue. We stored it in our component folder. The app.vue is actually one of the most, if not the most important components. This app component serves as a container for other components in Vue. It also contains the layouts, the footers, everything. You just arrange it here. If you're familiar with React, it's basically almost the same thing that app.vue does. This main.js is very important. It's the entry point for the Vue application. For instance, this HTML, we are adding the main.js here. It's automatically is done by the project. You add in the main.js here, and this is what we're going to make use of. This is like the entry point for the Vue application. It initializes the Vue using this create app that is gotten from Vue. It also mounts the app of the Vue to the DOM. It configures plugins like Vue Router etc., which you will get to see during the tutorial. The style.css is used for CSS styling. Like you see, we imported the TailwindCSS here. You could add other, CSS components like the body and whatever on this style.css. For this git ignore, its purposes is to ignore large files and also secret files like your .env, so that you don't push them to your Git repo. It ignores, basically specific files and folders in the project. The index.html actually is the only single HTML file that's served to the browser. It's relevant actually is for example the title. It's also the script and the ID as well. It's kind of very important. For the package log file, it's just automatically generated by npm. It's used to log dependencies of versions and ensure consistent installations across the environment. The package.json lists the dependencies that we install, like this TailwindCSS, Vue. It's really advanced. It's to define the commands. For instance, how we start this app with dev, like npm run dev. Dependencies are stored here, and etc. just basically just lists the dependencies that we are using in this project. The readme, I'm actually going to add a readme later on. It's just a guide, or I use it like a guide for you to know how to install this project, how to fork the repository, and how to just. I also added demo in this readme as well for you to see the project and the live action view. And finally, the Vite.config file contains the build tools that are used in this project, for instance the TailwindCSS and the Vue. So now we're done, let's get into the main tutorial. I'm going to delete this component because we're not going to be making use of it. Also, I think that's the only thing I'm going to be deleting. I'm also going to be deleting this styles as well. I'm going to be deleting the styles and this one too, because I'll just use it as an example. I just added my images and they are going to be available in my GitHub. So if you want to follow this tutorial and use the exact images I use, they are free images, you're gonna go over to my GitHub repository to grab the images. The repository is going to be in the description below. You could clone this project and you could get the images when you've cloned this project. Also, I would like you to star my repository when you get in it. It's going to let me know that you or some persons are actually watching this tutorial and they like my content. Also, I would want you to like this tutorial and also subscribe to my YouTube channel to encourage me to post more videos like this. When that is done, let's get to the main work, which is the tutorial. I also added installation processes with my readmd, and I also added a copy and paste data md so that we're not going to type all the necessary things like the images, the titles, etc. for this. So this tutorial is going to be fast and straight to the point. Let's get to the tutorial. First off, you open your terminal and install Vue router. This is actually going to help us route pages or the different pages in this tutorial. So you say npm I Vue router, click enter, close this up. Now that it's installed, we close this. We head over to our main.js. In here, we're going to import the Vue router. So I'm going to say import router from router. Now we've imported that. I want to say const app equal to create app and app. This is actually does the same work as this, but I just like to redefine this. This is like the modern way of doing this. Then you say app dot use router. Here you're setting this app and you're saying that this app is going to be making use of this router throughout this project, so that we can have like other pages as well in the project. And then you say app dot mount app. So let me take it from the top once more. This line 6 here, it creates a new Vue application using this app as the root. The create app function is provided by the Vue tree to initialize an app, which is this app that we are initializing. Then this app.use router on line 8 registers the route plugin with the Vue app, allowing you to manage routing between different components or pages. Lastly, line 10, this mounts the Vue app in the DOM element with the ID of app. Here you could see in line 10 again that this app, this ID of app, is coming from here. We are mounting the Vue app to the DOM element. This is where the Vue app would be rendered typically in the HTML file. I hope that was as clear as it could be. Let's move on to the main project. We'll have to create a folder in the src file for this router that we just installed so that we could store like the routes to different pages. So here I'll say router, and in this router we create an index.js. In my index.js, I would like to import a few things from Vue router. The first is create router. The second is create web history. Now we are done that, we also want to create a const route. Close this up. Here we're gonna put like the paths of our like pages, like the home page and etc. We also want to add a const router, create router history is create web history routes, and then we would like to export the route. In here is where I'm going to store our pages. Why I have not done that yet is because we do not have any page. We have not yet created pages, which we're going to do shortly. But first, let me explain what these lines are and how important they play in this application. So this create router function is called to create a router instance. This history option uses the create web history to enable HTML5 history mode, and this routes option is the array of routes defined, which will be this pages that I'm about to create. We're also exporting this route so that it can be used in the main view to enable routing. Now let's create a page. Say pages. The first one is going to be home.view. It's for our home page. Here I'm going to say view. You just type view and you click on the first one. It's going to bring out the templates, the script, and the style. Now in our route, time to create a page, we say path, which is like, if you know link in React, you will know the path as well. So here we say path, and we just put it to slash, which is defaultly the main page or the home page. I'm saying component, and we're setting this to a default layout. I'll have some children here, and in this children I'm gonna have a path and a component. This component is just gonna be home, and the name is gonna be home. We are going to make use of this, for instance, the component or the name, when routing our page with router link, like adding it to a text, etc. Now this home needs to be like imported. So you see import home from pages, home.view. Now this home is imported. We would like to create a default layout which is housing this home component or this home page. So in our components, I would like to create a layout folder in our src components. This is going to house the page header dot view, add the view template, it's also going to house the footer dot view. Just say page footer, because if you're just gonna say footer, you can't like import it because it's kind of like an element. So that's why I'm adding page to the front of the header and the footer, and I'm going to import it as well. First off, I want to close this because here looks a little bit rowdy. The last one I want to create is the default layout dot view. This is where we're going to like place the footer and the header to create this layout form. Let me show you. So here I'm going to like comment header, and I'm going to like bring the header here. So I say page header, close this up. Here it's going to be for the main component, and it's going to just have this router view. If you're not going to place this router view, which is like the body of the page, it's not going to work. Lastly, we're going to have the footer. Here say page footer. In this script, I would like to add something they call setup. It's for view tree. I'm going to delete this because we no longer need it. I'm going to directly import my page header from page header. I'll do the same for page footer. I also like to add some styling here, but first of all I would like it visible before I add my styling. Close this up. In the page footer, I'll just like maybe a p tag that says footer. Close it up. Then for the page header as well, I'll like a p tag that says header. Close it up. This default layout, actually, if you have noticed, it's this default layout component that is housing the main, just as here is like housing it in between whatever is in this default layout. That is the same way it is housing the children. So we are also going to import this default layout from layouts. So I'm just gonna click here, but first I need to confirm it's not layouts, it's layout, and the layout is inside the components folder. I'm just going to add component. Hopefully there's something showing in my browser. So nothing is going to be showing yet because I have not yet added the router view app.view. So here you're going to add the router view. Remember I said this is the heart component of everything. It's what brings everything together. This is the only thing we're going to add to this app.view. And here you could see the header. Here you could also see the footer. So now this is working. I want the header to always take the top and the footer to always take the bottom of each and every page that we're on. So that's going to happen in the default layout. We are no longer going to make use of the app.view, so I'm going to close it up. Here I'm saying mean height screen, give it a flex. It should be flex column and relative. For the main content, I would want to have a parent div. This parent div is going to have a class of flex grow. Why I gave this as flex is because I can't give this a flex grow on its own. It needs to have a parent component that has a flex property. So I gave it a flex column because I don't want it to be on a straight line. I want it to be on top themselves, like a block format. So this is our main page, or whatever, you know, activities we're gonna have here. This is the header and this is the footer. Close this up. We are not going to make use of it anymore. We head over to the components. We want to create a file for the swiping, if that makes sense. We are going to name it hero swiper dot view. You're going to bring in the view. We want to install Vue swiper so we can have this swipe, you know, like hero that changes background images. We head over back to the hero swiper, open our terminal, and in our terminal we're going to install swiper, npm I swiper. We head over to my GitHub under the components where the hero swiper is. We are going to grab in this import for the swiper so that we're not gonna waste time on this. Delete, add a setup to this first of all. Then here we're gonna paste it. This autoplay, you know, is responsible for changing it automatically, and the effect fade, it gives it this fading effect because a normal swiper just swipes to the left or the right, but this gives it like an animation fading in effect. Pagination is important because we could change background images when we click this pagination under. Swiper and swiper slide is going to house everything, the CSS as well, and you know, other properties. Quickly, we're gonna come over here and we want to bring in the swiper. So go to the template, add a div. This is like the parent element. Give it a class with a href screen. In here, I would like to introduce my swiper. So I say swiper. In my swiper, I would like to have a swiper slide inside my swiper. And in my swiper slide, I would like to have a div inside. For my swiper, I'm going to just add properties from my GitHub repo. Don't forget to start this repository. It's really going to help me know that you're following this tutorial and it means a lot to me. So I'm just going to copy these modules that is going to make the autoplay, the effect fade, and the pagination work. I'm also going to copy this fade effect, paste this fade effect. We are stating it to be true. Also, this autoplay is going to like control the autoplay. We're giving it a delay of 3 seconds, and you know, some other properties as well. You're gonna add a speed and a loop. The loop is to make sure that once it gets to the last image, it keeps going. That's what this loop is for. It keeps moving, it doesn't stop at the last image. Here's properties for the pagination, which is clickable and some other stuffs as well. You're also gonna give it a class of a height full and a width full as well. Now we're done doing that. We want to get in the data that we are using for this. The data contains the images, the header, and the semi-header. How you're going to get the data is you head over to my GitHub, to the data folder. There are two files actually, one for adventure card and one for hero slide. You're going to click on the hero slide.js. Head over here in the src folder, create a file for data, click enter. In the data, you're gonna say hero slides.js, click enter. So here in our copy and paste data md, I actually added this for us so that to save us the time for typing. We paste it so you could see all our data. We actually have like 5 images. The images are gotten from the assets image, which is this one here, which is this one's. This is slide 1, 2, 3 to 5. It also have some cool titles that I got using DeepSeek, Norton Light, and some subtitles that complements the titles. We're gonna close this up, head over to our script. Here I want to import the data that we are using for this hero slider so that we could make use of it, because if we don't import it, we are not going to make use of it at all. So here I'm like hero slides, and we want to import it from and hero slides. Now that we've imported the hero slide, I would like to make use of it in the swiper slide. In my swiper slide, I'll say v4, and we are saying v4 is slide in hero slides. After that, we need to have a key because they are different, you know, they are all different. They have their individual IDs, so we need to have a key for each of them. So here I say key. I'm gonna bind this and say key is equal to slide.id. Don't mind this showing that it's not being used. It's being used, so just gonna ignore that. There was once I deleted it and it didn't work, so you're gonna ignore it. Then for this div, we want to have another div inside the div. First, you're gonna have a p tag, and then you're gonna have a h1 tag for the subtitle and the title. So now we're done with that. We say slide, copy the slide here. I'm gonna do double curly braces. Say slide dot, come over here, grab the subtitle, paste subtitle. We do the same for here, slide dot title. We also want to add like the background image that overshadows all this here. So here is going to be where we're gonna add the background image, and we want to make use of the style. This is like inline CSS for Vue. You see background image, click that, make some backticks, say URL parenthesis $, say slide dot bg image. This bg image is gotten from here. Now I think we should import this in our home page. Our home page is going to be displayed defaultly on this page because it's like slash. It's going to be our default page. Remember, in our router we set this home page as our default page, so I think it's quite the time to import it. First, I would delete this from here and add a setup. In here, I want to add my hero swiper. I'm going to close it up. Here I want to import hero swiper, components, hero swiper. As for this div, it's going to have a class. In this class we say h is full, w is full, bg is cover, and bg is center. We want to say here is relative. It also have a w of full. So the slider works, but the image is not visible, and that's because in our data we are kind of like using this @ symbol. If I change it to like this dot dot, you're gonna see the image. But in order to configure this @ symbol that we could make use of it, we're gonna go over to the Vite config, head to my GitHub, down to the Vite.config. You need to copy this code from line 12 to 16, add it up so that we could be using this @. Then this part needs to be imported, so you import parts from part, and boom, boom, it works. The background image is showing, and it's going to switch in some seconds time. So it works, it switches background image. So we want to move this to the middle and also give this subtitle and title their own styling. So what we do is we go over to this parent div that houses the title and the subtitle. We want to give it a flex, then a flex call. Afterward, we want to make it item center, because when we switch to flex call, justify center will become item center. So here it is right here. I don't know if you could see it, but it's up here. Then we'll say justify center to bring it to the center. This background has a div house in it, because if you notice between these two, here's a bit lighter than this. So I want to add a parent div above here, where we are going to be adding a black background, but it's going to have its own opacity. So here I'm going to say absolute insect zero bg black. Then I'm going to say divided by 30. That's how the intensity is, so you could see it now. Here is where I'll say flex, and I'm gonna say items the center. I'll also give it a justify center as well. Here it is. Afterward, here I want to give it a text center to centerize the text at all times. Here in this p tag, I think it's high time I add font sizes to it. So I'm saying text is SM. That's like very tiny. I want to make it uppercase to capitalize it all. If you could see, it's now capital. I'm going to give it tracking to increase the spaces between the letter or letters, and the tracking is going to be like 0.2 rem. You could see the letters just gives themselves a bit of a gap. After the tracking, I want to give it the text color, and I'm going with the neutral 200. You see it? Then afterward, I'm heading over to this H1, and for my H1, I would like it to have a text of 5 pixel, but for this larger screen, it's going to be text of 8 pixel. Text is white, and font is light. The font is light, the text is white, the text is large. Here, which is our reference, you could see a line is in between the both of them. So here I'm gonna give it a div. This div is gonna have a class. In this class, it will be bg neutral 200, which is the same color we had used earlier for the p tag. Afterwards, it's going to have a W of 200 pixels. You're not going to see it because it has no height yet. So I want to give it a height of 1 pixel because I want it very slim. That's why I'm making use of a pixel. You could see the height is now visible. Then I want to give this a margin top of 8 for this. Then here I'm saying a margin bottom of 10. Okay, now because this font family is not the same, I would like to head over to my Google Fonts. This is where I get all my fonts from, and the font family we're going to be using is Poppins. I click on get font. Here I'll say get embedded code. I'll switch it to import. Then I'm going to copy this. We head over to our CSS, which is in our src folder. We're going to place it above here because there was once time I did not place it above and it seemed not to work. I'm going to copy just one line from this and say, perhaps I'll say everything should have this font family. Let's check if it changes, and yes it did. It now has the font family of Poppin. Head over to my GitHub, still the same file, which is like the hero swiper, and here we want to copy this line to give it the pagination because we don't have a pagination yet. This is gonna be under the swiper slide, and we give it a custom pagination. It's not visible now because we have not yet added all styles to it. So I'm gonna copy all the style, which I won't be explaining in this tutorial because this is not a CSS tutorial. And I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna see the pagination now. Well, when you scroll down, you could see there's a pagination here. You could click it, it's working. It also has the fade effect I told you of earlier that comes from this fade effect, and the effect is fade. So we're done with this section. All we need to do now is just to add this header functionality that has this text and the menu. Also, when we scroll, the header functionality is going to like have this black background, so stay tuned. We close here because we are no longer making use of this. We head over to our components, to our layout, and to the page header. Here we have this header text we had added earlier so that we could see the header. Now I want to add a header element. In here I want to have a div. Let's have another div, and this div is going to house the logo. So it's a router link because we want to set it to be a link so that whatever page we are, we click on the logo, is going to lead us back to the page. So here I'm going to have a p tag. P tag is going to have the name of this project, which is Halio. And for the router link, we have to say to. This works like the React link that we use, that link element that has to. So we are linking it to the home page. We click on it and you could see it's pointing somewhere. You could see that it points to the home page to show you the link it's working. We want to give this text a styling, so it's a class, and this class will say text is to Excel. Also we say font is light. It looks better. Now I want to create some JavaScript states for like the black background. For example, when I like scroll, I want to create some functions for this black background, and also to check the height of the hero, because if it's like having this height, it's going to stay the way it is. But once the height is like tampered, like you've scrolled, it's checking for a scroll event, this comes down, it has this animation. I'm also creating a state to check if the sidebar is visible or not, and so have you. So let's head back to the code and create those states. In my script, I'm going to say setup. Here I want to import three things. Import ref unmounted, then unmounted from Vue. We'll first use the ref, so we say const show black bg. That is for show black background. We want to set it to initially false. That's as it is now, the background should not be black initially before any other thing happens. Then we want to say const hero height, because that's transparent background, it's only going to work for the hero. Everything above the hero, it's not going to work. So we are setting the hero height to 800. Then we want to check if the sidebar is visible, so we are setting sidebar visible, and we're setting it to false, so it's a ref false. This also works like the way useState works in React. It reminds me of useState in React. Const check scroll is equals to create a for function, say show black bg dot value. So here we're adding a value to black bg. It's a window. This is checking for our window. This is our window, so we're checking for the window. So it's a window dot scroll, and the scroll is y because this is y axis, like the straight line. The horizontal is the x axis, so we are checking for scroll on the y axis. It's less than this hero height that we had created initially. If this, no, sorry, this is not less than, it's greater than. If this scroll has been greater than 800, then we want it to appear 30%, that is 0.3 after the scroll. So once it's scrolling 30% away from the screen, once it's 30, it shows. Okay, then I want to create for onMount. Here I'll say onMounted, which is once this is fired, we are adding an event listener to listen for a scroll, and we're checking the scroll. And I want to add an onMount that is after this event is done. So after this scroll, we're checking and it works, but this is when the event is done, like the opposite of the event, like I'm done doing this, it goes back to a default, or it goes back to the way it was before this happened. I also want to quickly just create a toggle sidebar, so I'm saying const toggle sidebar, close this up, and I want to say sidebar visible dot value is equals to sidebar is not visible dot value. This means if the sidebar is closed and you click it, it's going to open. If it's open, it clicks it, it's going to close. Lastly, I want to create a const for close sidebar, so I say close sidebar. Here I'm saying sidebar dot visible. I'm just setting my sidebar to false. Here we are done with this. Let's go back. I'll close this up and start applying all this to our code. I'd like to make this div on line 3 a self-closing div, or better still, it should close itself here. First of all, this header, we want to give it a class of fixed top 0 and z of 50. Why I gave it a fixed height? Because every good header has a fixed height, and the top 0 makes it stays at the top in all time. The Z50 is going to make it visible above everything. That's like above the cards, above the view. It's going to be visible above everything. So that's why I gave it a fixed top 0 Z50. As for this self-closing div, it's not self-closing actually. I want to give it absolute. Insert is 0 with a bg of black. Go to my code, so you could see it has a very tiny bg of black. Let's give this a width of 4, so it's going to take the whole space, and it's taking the whole space now. I would like to do something. I want to bind in a class here. This class is going to check if the opacity is 0. So if the opacity is 0, it's not going to show the black background. So as you can see, it's not showing the black background. But if the opacity is 100, it's going to show the black background. So what this does exactly is, when the show black background is false, the class opacity 0 is added to make the element fully transparent. That's why here it's transparent. But when the show black background is true, it's going to give you the opacity of 100, bringing the black background. Let's hold over back to this code and give this div a class of relative. Give it a z of 10. My logo is here now because I gave it a z of 10. I'm also going to give it a text of white. It's visible now. Let's give this a px of 6 for the horizontal and a py of 4. It has a px of 6, py of 4. We also want to give it an mx of auto. Now I want to add a hamburger for the sidebar, which is this one. I want to add a hamburger. I'll have a button. In this button, I'm going to have @click, so it's going to check for clicks, and its clicking is going to be the toggle sidebar, which is the one we created here to toggle the sidebar close and open. In this button, I'm going to have an icon and a text that says menu. So we're going to say p menu, and the icons I'm using for this kimalaapps.com view icons.kimalaapps, and I'm saying menu. I'm just going to go for a simple menu here. But first we need to add this with npm. So I'll copy this, paste it, wait for it to download, and it's done. I'm closing this now. Okay, sorry, we've copied it already. We go back to search icons and type menu. This is like the only view icons I use, because when I was learning Vue, I tried using other ones, but it didn't necessarily work out. It was not visible at any point. So if you know other Vue templates I can make use of, you could comment them and I'll be glad to try them out. But for now, this is the one I know. So I'm going to paste the imports for this menu. Go over and you can see my menu. Now I'm going to go back to this parent div that is housing this logo and this menu. I'm going to give it a flex, justifies between items will always be at the center. Okay, it's working. I think I should move this menu here, because on the smaller screen I don't want the menu visible. I just want the bars visible. So this works. Also, I want to give this like a gap of 3. Okay. For this menu, I'm going to give it a class. For my class, I will say hidden. Then above MD, maybe yes, I'm saying block. That way on the mobile screen, it's going to have this hidden menu but once you click it, the menu is going to open, which we are yet to apply. Now I think I should start adding this sidebar. So beneath this header, I want to comment sidebar. Here I'm saying div. In this div, you're gonna have another div inside. Inside this div, we want to have a button first, and this button is for close. So here I say close, and I think I like this X right here. So I'm going to copy this, paste it, copy this, and go over beneath here and paste it as well. For this div, I'm saying if sidebar, and we're setting it to visible. Also, I want to give this a class of fixed. Top is 0, right is 0. To take it to the right hand side, W is 64, H is full, and background is black. I would also want every text to be white. So here I'll say text white. This text white also applies for the icons. Cross my finger and click, click, click. It's not yet working. Let me add a Z index of 50. Hopefully it works now. And here it works. For this X, which we just brought in recently, I would want to say at click, checking for clicks. And here I'm saying close sidebar. Remember we had created functions for this toggle sidebar, which we had used here, actually here, and this close sidebar, which we're using here. I also want to quickly just style this button. I'll give it absolute. Top is 4, right is 4. I want to take it to the right hand side. Then I want to give it a text of 3XL, also a cursor of pointer. Ew, it's actually huge for 3XL. Let me make it 2 actually. Okay, it looks better. Click it and it's closed. Also for this hamburger up here, I don't think I'm done with it. I want to give it a class of cursor pointer, so one can know that okay, this here can be clicked. Go back to the sidebar because we are not done. I want to add this right here to make it a bit more professional. So let me close this. We come over beneath the button, I feel, and paste it. Also, I want to make this code clean, so here I'm saying close button. Check it out. It looks fine. Steve, I want to give it a class of flex column, height full, P6, so that this is going to have a bit of a shaping. As you can see, as I added the padding, it had gone down and it's beneath this, which is cool by me. Here I'm going to add a navigation menu. So now in here I want to add some router links, so I'll say router link. The first one it leads me to is the home page, which I don't think it's necessary because we already have this, but let's just add it for some adding, sake. So you say router link. Here's about. Let's give this a flex call and gap of 4. Okay, this looks good. Let's also give this like an empty of 5. Okay, this looks okay. Let's give this each a hover. Let's see, class hover text. Let's say amber 100, and also give it a transition. Okay, I like it. Let's copy this, paste it beneath this, and I know it's working for the tool as well. Let's move over to this section that has this 2 big cards. So I'm going to close here and here. In my components, I'm going to create a new file, and the name of this file is going to be adventure cards. Write my view. Now in this section, I would like to create a card. So I'm gonna have a div here and another div. In this div, I want to have my image tag where I'll be placing my image. I also want to have a div here. In this div, I'll have another div. Here I'll have a h4 for my subtitle, a h3 for my title, and a p tag. I also want to have a button for this button here as well. Afterward, I'll head over to my home page. In this div is where I'm going to place my adventure card. Close this. Here I would like to import adventure cards. After that is done, I would like to create a data for this adventure cards. I would like to create a data because these cards have their own data, like the image, the title, the subtitle. So let's head over to my GitHub under my copy and paste data MD. Here you see the data for the adventure cards. Let's copy this name, go over to data, create a file for it, .js. Copy this, come here, paste, close this, close this, close this. Now you've pasted this, let's import the data. So import adventure cards from data adventure cards. In here we'll say v4, and what we're saying is it's for card in adventure card. Let's add a key. For this key, say card.id. Then let's add a card. Here say card. You move over here to JavaScript. In here, I would like to say setup. I want to define the props that we're going to be using here. So I'll say define props. I want to define the card that I'll be bringing in. So it's a card, color braces, type is object, required is true. Now that is done, I'll head over to my data. And what I'm bringing in is this image. So I'm copying it. Here I'm going to bind this and say card.image. As you can see, the images are visible now. I want to bring in the rest like this. Card dot subtitle, card dot title, card dot description, if I got that right. Then for my button, I'm just gonna say learn more. Okay. So if you notice, these two images do not have their own title, subtitle, description, because I didn't really add them to this card. Why I didn't do that was because there are only two cards displayed on this view, and here has just images, no title, no subtitle. So I placed all the images in one data file, and I want to show you how I can bring only the first two data from this data storage or file. So I'm heading back to my home so that I can bring in just the first two cards. Here I'm saying const first two cards. It's going to equals to computed, which I'm importing from Vue. Make sure you import it. Going to make a fast arrow function here. In here, I'll say adventure cards dot, and I want to slice it, and I'm saying 0, 2. Now that is done, I'm going to copy this. Now I am no longer bringing the card from the adventure cards, which is in the data, because if I do that, it's going to bring everything. Now I'm bringing the card in first two cards. Let's check it. And you can see only the first two cards are now visible. I'm not coming to this home page anytime soon, so it's best if I close it up. Now let's give this page a fitting, styling, something that makes it look good, because it does not look good. So first of all, I'll say BG gray 50. I don't think you could notice it, but it has a very light gray color now. Width is full. For this div, I would like to give it a H of 52, but above small screen I want to give it a H of 72 with an overflow of hidden. For my image, I'd like to give it a class of H is full, W is full, object is cover. So you're not gonna see it like much, I forgot something. I'm supposed to like give this a class, I feel. I'm supposed to give this a class, I feel. So here I'm going to say div. Cut this div here. Place it here. Here I'm going to say class upgrade, and should have a on the like large screen should grade 2 column. It's gonna make it 2 now. Now it's 2. I want to give it a P5 for mobile screen. For above mobile screen, it should be P20. So it has a P20. I also want to give it a PX of 32, but this should be on large screens only. Now I want to give it a gap of 14. I know it's large, but hear me out. It's okay the way it is. Like, I like it this way. I also want to place items center, just so maybe if it's not in the center, it can be in the center at all times. Now I think I'm done with the home for now. Let's head back to our adventure cards and start giving this some details that it's lacking. So for this div, I want to give it a class, and the class is going to be BG white, because I want it different from this one. You're not really going to be seeing some differences, so I'm going to give this a shadow of LG. Now you can see it has a shadow. Also, I want to say when you hover, it should have a shadow of XL. See, it has a shadow now. But first I'll say transition all. I'll also say duration should be 300. So it's kind of like, you know, very slow, but let's head over back here and say LG, that's above LG, should have a height of 80. So it has a larger height than before. A PY of 10. Okay, it has a PY. Then we'll have to give it a PX for the side. So you say PX. No, let's just generally just say P is 8. It's there now. Then say text is center. Now the whole text have been moved to the center. For this H4, which is this one, it's kind of like very much similar to the styling we used here. So I'm going to copy it and paste it, but tweak it a bit because it's not entirely the same. I'll head over to my hero swiper, close this up, and I think it's this subtitle, you know, slide subtitle. I'm copying this. I'm not closing this yet because I would also I think I'm going to copy it for the title as well. So I've copied it, and let's see how it looks. Okay, not bad compared to this. So this is smaller than SM, so I say XS. So it's very tiny now. Uppercase, yes. Tracking, yes. Text neutral will now be 400. See, it's more darker now. Let's give this an underline. Then say decoration. Neutral. 400. Okay, it looks good. Head over to hero swiper copy actually this, paste here, but I'll tweak some things. This should be 3XL. It shouldn't have an extra large or something. Oh, my text is kind of a black, not white, and its font light is the same. Okay, I think I like what I'm seeing. Then for this P, I don't think I'm copying and pasting anything. I'm just saying text neutral. I think I like this neutral color. It's kind of one of the best that we use. Text is start. I don't want the text to be center, so the text should start from the starting. Then I say font is extra light and it has an empty pen. Okay, it looks good. Then for this button, I want to give it a class of empty4 border 2 border neutral, and the border neutral is 300, px is 6, py is 2, it is uppercase, text is SM, font is light, small fonts, small text, over is BG neutral 200. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Let's check the mobile screen. I think it's quite responsive. Now I want to create this. This is like a bonus on this tutorial. For instance, when you're scrolling, it's like as if this background image is behind us and it's moving. It's called something like a parallax. I didn't really know this. I had to go learn how to create this for this tutorial. So let's go back and create this parallax section. So come over to my components and say parallax. I'm getting that right. It's supposed to start from caps lock, capital actually. So I say parallax or lax. Sorry, I'm African. Section dot view. Now it's a view. Have a div here. This div is going to have a div actually. Give this div a class of parallax and section. You're gonna copy this, come over to your style, add scope, say dot parallax section. Here I'll say background image is URL. I'm gonna say art slash, or if you're not familiar with art, you say dot slash assets images, the first one actually, which is JPG. In order to see my background image, because you're not gonna see it, you have to have a height. So let's give it a height of 250 pixels. Hopefully it's not visible yet because we have not added it to the home. So beneath this div, I say parallax section here, we have to import it. It's a must. So it's just click confirm, and there you go. The parallax section is there. Close this home. Close this adventure card. Now, I don't know how we're gonna do this yet, but let's come to the CSS first. Say background size, and for this background size, say cover. Let's check. It's actually covered, but we're just making sure. I say background position is center. It's now the center. I say background attachment, which is this one. I say fixed. I don't think it's gonna make much changes, but there you go. Also, here we give it a relative. After giving this a relative, I would like to create a black overlay. So here I'm just saying permit me to just add this here, which is parallax section. So this black overlay, because yeah, it's a bit dark. Okay, it's dark. It has like something dark overshadowing it. So that's why I'm creating this black overlay. I gave this a relative, so I'll give this an absolute insert. There's a time I was trying to do this and I forgot to add the insert, and it did not work, and I spent hours on that code trying to make it work. I actually didn't know what the use was, and I just overlooked it. Opacity and set index of 0. It is now a stack. Actually, the parallax is working. If you can notice, it's moving. Okay, it's working already. Now, if you notice here, it has this p tag and this other one here. We head over back to our hero swiper, I think, and copy this styling for this. Come over here, I think it's here. You add the p, add the class. Then here we would have to borrow something, so we come to this hero slide, and we want to like borrow. Let's borrow this one. Sorry, I'll paste this. Now let's check it out. It's right here. In this div, I want the text to be center, so I say text center. Look, it's in the center. Then I'm gonna just say place items center. It's what I use when I don't want to add flex to anything. That's not working. Don't worry, it's gonna work. And I'm gonna add a C10, and because it's kind of gonna be very large in my mobile screen, like it's taking everything, that is why I would want to add a W for over 5, so it's not going to take everything. As you can see, it's no longer taking everything. I'm closing this up. Now for this p tag, I think the neutral is too dull. Maybe not, I don't know. Let me check. So it's not that dull, I just don't know. Let me see. 400. Oh, it's a bit dull. Let me see. 100. I think we should just leave it at 100 for now. I will come back here, not here actually, my hero slide or swiper. I want to cover this quickly. Come here, paste. Okay, I've pasted it, but I want it to be longer, so I say SM, that is for above smaller screen, and I'm going to give the weight of 500 pixels, so it's larger now. I also want to bring in the H. Let me just say H2 and say Northern Lights. Here I'm just gonna say class 3XL font as lights. So here I'll say flex item center, justify center as well. I see why this is too light, so I would like to dim this a bit. Let's give it 400. Okay. Now we've done that, let's see. I think the text is the center. Yep, the text is center. I can't actually see the H. I can't see the H tag, and I think I made a mistake here. Let me see, text, it's white. Okay, I would have to reduce the line here, it's too long, so say my is 4. Okay, I think the text is a bit smaller, so say excess. We close this, and the next one we are trying to recreate is this one. I called it Adventure Gallery. So here you say Adventure Gallery .view, and you bring in your view here. In this Adventure Gallery, I would like to say set up. Then here I'm saying import adventure card. Remember the adventure card that we used in the adventure cards section. It's the same adventure card that we are importing from data/adventure cards, and we go to the template. We have a div, and first I just want to bring in a card, so I'll have a div again. Here I'll have an image, not too much. In this image I just want to add it first. I don't know why I want to add my image first, but here I'll say v4. It's replacing it directly, so here I'll say card in adventure cards. Then I want to add a key, so it's a key is card.id. I have an src card image. I also like to have an alternate C. So I'm just gonna delete this. Cross my fingers. It's not here yet, so I'll go to my home page. Yeah, I'm saying adventure gallery. It's here now. It's here. So now my images are here. I would like to come to this first div. I'll create a div. And in my div, I want to have a p tag. I also want to have h2 on the rest, but I think we should just come to this parallax section and copy from here to here. Just copy this up, come back and just replace, paste. Here I'll change this just to be featured adventures. Let's check it out. And here it is, but you're not gonna see it because this is white. So I'm gonna delete this. Automatically it's black. Let me confirm. Yeah, it's black. For this div, flex, call, item, center. Okay, they're in the center. Oh, my burn div, I say BG is spray, PC, P is 5, PY is 20, above the larger screen, PX is 30. You can see it's like the same as this one right here. Now I would like to have like an MB of 12 here. Yeah, just to give it like a spacing. Let's jump here because I want to. Say great. Then you say above MD, say great. Cause is 2. It's graded now. Say gap. It's 4. Each has a equal amount of gap, which is 4. Then you say let's just say place item center. It is in the center by the way, but I just like doing it not because it's going to give it any change, but just to be on the safe side. Yeah, I just do that. And for these images, they're all going to have a class of h is 150 pixels. Yeah, it's tiny now, but it's gonna make sense on the smaller screen. Let's just get there, and boom, it makes now. Or I will say it now makes sense. Then I'm gonna say above the small screen, I want my height to be 280 pixels. W is 4. Object is cover. You're not gonna see any change. So say transition is all. Duration is 300. Over is scale 105. Over is shadow LG. Okay, I think there's still more we can do to this section. Let me check if we could add, minus, subtract anything from the section. Let's confirm if it's mobile responsive. It is mobile responsive. Okay, I don't like this line. It's kind of like moving from the start to the end, and let's go change that. So for here, I think we say weight is 200 pixel. Yes, our small screen. Let me check it out. Now it looks fine. It looks fine. I also want to give I should have made a mistake. There. I also want to give this a weight of 4 or 5 like I did for this one. And maybe here I'm gonna say text is center at all times. Okay, it looks better now if you agree with me. Let's head over to the parallax section. Here we actually made a mistake. I'll say it is 200 pixels for the smaller view. This looks good. Now it's time to style the footer, which is basically the last thing right here. Yeah, it's time to style the footer, which is the last thing. We already created the footer earlier. It's in our layout page footer. It's just that we had not made use of it, so it seemed as if it wasn't there, but it's always been there. Can I delete this actually? It's not needed. It's not needed at all. Let's have a div. This div is like class. PG is black. Text is white. Text is center. P is 16, which may seem too large, but it's just perfect. I want to have a div here. In this div, I want to because it has like emojis or something like that, I don't want to keep bringing each emoji. I just want to like in React they call it mapping. I don't know if it's the same they call it in Vue. So I'll say component. Stay with me. And here I'm saying V is for icon, index, in. Actually, I am making a mistake. This is supposed to be in here. Now, let's ignore the error and go to this place, this Kalima, I think, for view icon. Yep. So I want to first look for Twitter. So I say Twitter. Click the first one. Copy this import. Come over here. Say script. Setup. Sorry. And paste it. Copy this. Paste here. And just come on. I'm also going to add a key here. So it's a key. Is equals to index. Here I'll say this is what is it, and it is an icon. I just did that to remove the error because I don't like looking at errors. It makes me feel somehow. Let's say Facebook. Okay, let me confirm the Facebook. Let's see, it's just an F. I will copy this and paste this. Copy this. I will paste this. Again, we're gonna do the same for Instagram. confirm. Okay. I don't think we need this GitHub anymore. Let me just take this Instagram, paste this, copy this. Why I chose to map this is because they each have their like hover properties. So that's why I just chose to go this route. If not, I would maybe just paste them directly. So this is a mill. Copy this. We're not needing this again, so we're gonna close this up. Come here, paste, copy this, and paste this. Let's go to my own code, and you can see they are here. Now, come over to this div, give it a class, and we're gonna give it a flex to make them in one line. Yep, and in one line. Say justify center, gap is 5. Let's say text. It's neutral. 500. Text is 3XL. Boom. They're huge. They're good. They look beautiful. Then here I'm saying transition colors, duration is 200. Now I want it to be 200. Over, I say text should be amber, maybe 100. And cursor is pointer, but trust me, it's not pointing to anywhere. You could add maybe your Instagram or something, but I don't want it to point anywhere. Beneath this div, you have a p tag. This p tag said made with love by code purchase. You could add your name actually to this. Let's get a class of text neutral uppercase onto slides. It's too close to each other. Yeah, I'm saying MB is 12. I just say 10. Okay. Let's just make a span tag here because I like to be a little bit extra. Copy this, or cut it, place here. Yes, a class. Text is amber 50. Let me just say 100, not 1,000. Yep. Let's check our mobile screen to check how responsive is it. I think it's okay. And let's check the iPad mini. Actually, the name of this extension, I have forgotten the name of this extension. I think it's called Mobile View, I don't know. And we are done. So if you stay to this end of this tutorial, I am very glad you did, and I would love you to like, share, follow, subscribe, stay tuned for more. And also you can comment whatever you think I should code. If you like my code, you just let me know. You can contact me on LinkedIn if you want to talk or any other thing. I remain Code.js, and goodbye.